heard Professor Sampson. I heard earlier Professor Sampson mentioned the Duolingo. Duolingo is a fantastic option because one, it is cost effective. Two, you're able to complete your test virtually. Three, with the Duolingo, another advantage to it is you get your scores typically within a few business days. And then finally, if you do decide to apply to a different college or university, it is free at that point to have your scores sent to a different school. So you just log into your Duolingo profile. You indicate you want your score sent to Augsburg College. We typically get them in a few business days from there. If you sat for the ACT or SAT, we can look at the subsection of the evidence-based reading and writing. We have a 570 on the SAT in that section, or if we have a 22 on the English and reading section of the ACT, we can accept it as well. So this is a requirement for all of our international students. The only time we are able to waive that is if you have attended a college or university in the United States and have completed 2 semesters of a English course with a grade of a B or higher. So typically that would be like an English 100 or an English 105, depending upon the school you're at. That'll be the only instance that we're able to waive the English language requirement. Kind of moving on to cost of attendance and how that kind of comes into play with financial aid. So our tuition and fees to attend for next academic year is just under $44,000. If you are living on campus, the cost of living on campus with the full meal plan is just under $12,000 per year. And then other miscellaneous fees that you need to consider and budget in would be about $2,500, which would include your books, health insurance, other kind of costs you should just kind of think about when it comes to, like, maybe you want to get like a coffee, or if you want to get, parking, things like that as you're considering just being a student at the university. Just to note, this does not include travel to and from your home country. So if you are attending and you plan to go home for the summer or maybe over like a holiday break, just kind of think about how that would budget in as well. On the undergraduate side, we do award all of our international students a $30,000 per year scholarship. This is awarded upon acceptance to the university. There is no separate application for it. You must live on campus to receive the full $30,000 scholarship. If you decide to live off campus because living on campus is not required, that's completely fine. But we do reduce the scholarship to $25,000 if you live off campus. PTK is short for Phi Theta Kappa, which is an honors program in the United States at a few different, quite a few community colleges. And if you do attend a community college for a couple years, you are a member of Phi Theta Kappa, we can increase your off-campus scholarship to $27,500. So what does that kind of mean when it comes to your total cost of attendance? Your total cost of attendance to live on campus, direct cost that your actual bill will be from the university to live on campus is going to be $25,847 for the year. If you live off campus, your direct bill is going to be $18,942. And then if you are a member of PTK and you're living off campus, your bill is going to be $16,442. And I do kind of want to emphasize that this is your actual bill that you will receive, which is going to be different from the amount that we need to see on bank statements and your certification of finances form. That is a requirement for us to process and send you your I-20. So just kind of know that we will be collecting bank statements and documents to ensure we have everything to issue your I-20. And kind of how that ties in with the process, which is I try and break it down into 3 steps for international students. How do you attend? So step 1, you complete your application for admission and you get admitted to the university. That's kind of step 1. After you've been admitted to the university, we work on step 2. Step 2 is going to be working with you on submitting your bank statements, copy of your passport, a breakdown of your certification of finances, and then paying your $150 enrollment deposit, which is your commitment to attending. When you do that, we verify everything. We ensure that you have the funding available to cover your costs. Then we are able to issue your I-20. Once you have your I-20, we move on to step 3. Step 3 you use your I-20 to schedule your F1 student visa appointment, and you pay your CVIS fee. With this, and I know Professor Sampson probably talked a little bit about this or has before, when you are going in for your student visa appointment, ensuring that you're treating it as an interview, because that's essentially what it is. But you're going to need to make sure you bring all your documents with you, make sure you're ready to go for it, that you're on time, that you're prepared, that you speak with the consular and answer their questions directly. Assuming everything goes well, they will approve your visa, and then we work with you to kind of plan your arrival to the university. So we really try and tackle these one at a time, really making sure that we're focusing on completing your application before we focus on when are you going to be arriving to campus. After your application has been complete, you've been admitted. Step 2, really working on the documents we need for your I-20.
Very huge problem. I'm not hearing what he's saying, maybe because of network or service. The network is breaking.
Can you mute yourself and type your question and use the chat box to type your question?
And then we're just about done here. We'll get the Q&A here.
All right, thank you.
Just a minute. Yep, no problem. So then finally, step 3, like I said, once we have your I-20 issued to you and you receive your student visa, then we'll work with you on the exciting part, which is getting you ready to come down to Augsburg and start into our programs. So if you have any questions, 2 people to connect with. Myself, I'm kind of your main point of contact throughout the entire application process. And then we do have Bettine Hoff Hermanson, who is our PDSO, and she'll kind of be working with you on the arrival to campus, and then is your support person when you are here. So I work with you kind of on the front end until you get to campus, and then Bettine works with you once you arrive at campus and ensuring you're supported while you're here afterwards. After that, we have some questions, and I know there's quite a few in the chat, so I'm going to stop sharing here.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Paul.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, you can unmute yourself or ask your question. Unmute yourself. You can just raise your hand so that just raise your hands. Use the reaction tool. You will see the reaction to raise your hands and unmute yourself. Okay, somebody did ask, is the test of English compulsory for Nigerian students? Knowing fully well that they are from Anglophone country, is the test of English compulsory?
Yeah, it's a great question. That's one that we get, quite a bit. It is a requirement for all international students, and we do understand that several countries are ones that have English as their first language. It is just the policy of the university that we do require of all international students.
Yeah, I must also ask that this varies from institution to institution.
It absolutely does.
Some institutions are the Nigerian community. Many of those institutions have actually made a case on behalf of many international students coming from Nigeria, and they have actually waived it for them in those institutions. But the challenge is this, because I was privileged to be at a meeting with one of those representatives of the university. And when they made a case for them, the student came in from Nigeria and the student could not understand or comprehend English clearly. So in fact, I had to wade in and I have to provide intervention that, probably the student was from a rural place, he could write, he could read, but comprehension was very difficult. So that's why it's a 50-50 thing. You might still be asked to pass through certain proficiency tests just to be so sure that you can understand, comprehend, and write. But I mean, like I did say, it's not, you should be able to pass it easily. So that's not a worry. Okay, Infinix X5, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you for this Zoom meeting. Okay, yes. Firstly, I want to ask, like you said, the proficiency test is a criteria for the university. But at this point, I'm also looking at it. Like one of the requirements, like that was listed under the like if you have TOEFL, you have IELTS and everything. Like I just saw it. Okay, now I want to ask this question: is there a difference between? Does it have to be like, okay, for example, I took English courses in my first year, and I think I did in my second year. And I'm okay. For example, if I had an A or a B plus or something, will it also count? Can that be used to waive proficiency tests, or does it have to be only people that took English courses in the US, or does it apply to people or to international students also? Then secondly, when is like the admission? When does the admission start for the university? What is the timeline for the 2023-2024 academic session? Thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic questions, and I'll take them one at a time. So first question, in terms of the English proficiency. So the English proficiency, and this will vary university to university, but in terms of within Augsburg University, we just require one of the English proficiency scores. The only time that we would be able to waive that is if you do have college or university credit already, where you've completed 2 semesters of an English specific course, not courses in English, an English specific course, where you earn a B or higher in those courses. And if that would be the case, on a case-by-case basis, we can potentially waive it for you, but otherwise we do require one of the English proficiency scores. And then I do apologize. What was the second part of your question?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Are you going to take it? Okay.
Okay. You can just mention it.
All right. Okay. Well, like, when is the academic session starting in 2023, 2024?
Yeah, thank you for that reminder. That's a really good question. So our application is open for the 2023-2024 fall semester. Our recommendation is to apply as soon as you can. So if you are in your final year of high school, if you are in your time where you know that you're going to be applying for the fall semester, you should be working on your application as soon as you possibly can. We continue to operate in what's called rolling admission, so we will continue to work with students throughout the academic year. But as I think we can all agree, and probably all notice over the last couple of years, visa appointment wait times really fluctuate and have been all over the place. Sometimes they are several weeks, sometimes they're several months. We cannot control what those visa appointment wait times are, so that's why we do recommend applying as soon as you can for the term. What that kind of means on a year-to-year basis, if you're not ready to apply for this fall semester, typically we open our application for about 1 year out is the furthest out you can apply. So if you are looking at applying for the fall of 2023-2024, our application opened in September for that.
All right, so a quick one just to provide a little background on the English proficiency. There's another question in the chat box. I must also mention to us that the international in the international community, law is law, irrespective of where you are coming from. For instance, even as a visiting professor, I haven't taught in the university for over 13 years. I have to pass through proficiency tests in English. So even for me to be eligible to be a visiting professor where I am, so I have to pass through. I insisted, I provided so many letters that, oh, I've been teaching in English. I had all my degrees in English. I mean, but the only thing there is that the university now said, okay, rather than you write, okay, let's subject you to verbal. So I have to pass through. So if the admission process says proficiency test in English, I mean, you just have to pass through. But of course, haven't come, if you are now within the system, you cannot begin to make a case. And so that should not just be a problem, an impediment for us. But, and now somebody is asking that what is the financial, somebody is asking that what's financial aid available for undergraduates at your university? So what's the financial aid that is available for undergraduate program in your university?
Fantastic question. Thank you for asking. So our financial aid that we do offer, financial aid we use as an umbrella term for gift aid from the university, and that is going to be the International Regents Scholarship. The International Regents Scholarship is $30,000 per year, contingent upon living on campus. And if you do live off campus, it is $25,000 per year. That is the only scholarship and the only financial aid that we offer from the university because of the generous amount of it. It supplements more than 50% of your total tuition and fees to attend the university.
Okay, so is there any other question on the postgraduate, the MBA program? What's the admission process for the MBA program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do have, I think now 11 different graduate programs you can apply for if you are looking at a master's program. So we have not only an MBA, but we also have an MAL, we have an MAE, we have a few other programs as well. And in terms of what the application process is, it is program specific. So if you are applying for the MBA, that will be a separate application process versus if you're applying for the MAL versus if you're applying for like an MFA. So it is going to be program specific. My recommendation for that is on the on our website of the university. We do have the specific application process for each program tied on there. That'll be my recommendation, is just to follow that, because each program will ask for a few different things. Some of the similar aspects that will be the same will be English proficiency scores, application to the university, the general application to the university. But then from there, there's some supplemental sections that will vary a little bit.
Okay. Oluwaseun Ekuni is raising his hand. Can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Now, I would like to confirm, other than the scholarship, the available scholarship, I would like to know if there are other financial aids that students can benefit from. For example, like opportunities to work on campus, to make extra money, and so on.
Yeah, so in terms of financial aid from the university, there is no additional financial aid from the university that we offer other than the International Regents Scholarship. In terms of working on campus, you potentially do have the option to work on campus as an undergraduate student. However, the maximum that you can work would be to earn up to $3,000 for the year. So that would be something that we would kind of say is some supplemental income that you could use for some of the costs that are not going to be directly billed from the university. That might be for some entertainment on the weekends. That might be for saving up for like your flight over the summer if you plan to go home to your home country. But that would be the only additional financial aid that the university offers. We do not offer any additional aid otherwise in terms of the International Regents Scholarship.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paul. This law varies from institutions to institutions, and for Augsburg University, they're offering a scholarship of up to about 50 something, it's close to 60%. Is what you get as aid. And so when you are choosing, these are some of the things you should check. Okay, what are the other options that are available? Why some may allow you, some may not. So we don't want you to go foul of the law. So you must not just be ignorant of some of these basic fundamentals. But for Augsburg University, I mean, it's wonderful that they are offering about 60% scholarship that covers your entire tuition. Out of about 43,000, you get close to 30,000, and that is a big relief. And if you can maintain academic performance, it's not just a once and for all. You get it every year throughout your study. Once you can maintain your academic performance, so if you are studying for a period of 4 years, which means you are going to get a scholarship of $120,000. I mean, that's huge. So, but I mean, you can definitely. But I must also tell you that if you have, there are so many opportunities which you can also be eligible to get from other donors. Any other question? Okay. Let's check the chat box. Okay, somebody is raising his hand. Okay, Infinix X5 Lite, can you please ask your question?
So, sorry, thank you for the opportunity once again. No, this question, I think I don't know if anyone can answer this question, because I'm looking at the embassy,
Yeah.
like the U.S. High Commission in Nigeria, the embassy, and of course, the challenge from what I can see or what I've heard, like it's easier. Like yes, Augsburg University could offer admission. Any university in the US could offer admission. But what is the obstacle like at the embassy? Because of course, if the university, for example, is supposed to open, like the admission date for entry is June 2023, and we can't even get an appointment with the embassy till, for example, till December 2023. How would we be able to just juxtapose that kind of an arrangement? So how can the university help out in that regard to fasten the process and to make sure that that does not impede the process of the admission into the university? Thank you.
Yeah, Paul, can
Yeah,
I just
so-
provide a
Yeah,
little
go
background to
ahead.
that? Okay. Yeah. I think we must understand the embassy places high premium on education, health, and things that has to do with urgent travel right now. But however, there is a backlog ever since COVID. But if you file in your application, within that portal, there is a column for you where you can, after submitting, a date will pop up. That date might be far based on normal arrangement based on their backlog. But within that portal, there is a column for reschedule your appointment. So if you click on that reschedule your appointment, it will lead you to another portal whereby it will ask for additional documents that will justify rescheduling of your appointment. I did that, and within 3 working days, I got my appointment rescheduled. So you have to provide additional document whereby you provide your DS 2019 and other documents, and if you can also get a letter from the institutions. People like Paul will be able to work with you that, oh, you need to resume as so you provide all those documents, you attach it. But more importantly, the interview process, having gained admission does not guarantee that you are coming. You have to convince the consular, and that's one of those things that many of us who have traveled far and near, are putting heads together to provide. If this is one thing we can just use to support good heads who have good intention, I will do it. But I must tell you sincerely, it's the mere fact that you have admission, the embassy will have to be convinced of your mission while you are traveling to the United States. The embassy will have to be convinced of your financial capability if you do not have a scholarship. The embassy will have to also be convinced of, will do a background check of you if you have any criminal related issue. So it's not just admission, it's a total package. And that's why some of us are putting it together, devoting certain time, putting some time aside to provide assistance and coaching if need be. So Paul, over to you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, which is what we provide from the university, and part of the process of step 2, which is after you've been admitted to the university, is why we gather all the documents is, one, we are required to do so by law so that we can issue your I-20, but you will also want to have those documents that we are collecting ready for your student visa interview appointment. Very often you'll be asked for them. We do recommend a few other things as well, such as printing off your copy of your acceptance letter, bringing that with for your appointment. And then we do include, when we send the I-20 to all of our students, we do send some of our suggested tips and suggestions for you to prepare for your interview appointment as well, so that you can hopefully be approved for your student visa.
All right. Okay. Is there any other question before we? So our next webinar will be focused on zero scholarship, and this time around we are focusing on postgraduate 100% scholarship, not zero scholarship. 100% scholarship for postgraduate. We are focusing on postgraduate. So please watch out. We'll send the invite anytime soon. And it's going to be on 100% scholarship for those who are looking for opportunity for masters, for PhD. And we'll be sharing some of the tips and some of what you need to do, how you need to go about to be able to secure 100% scholarship. And that's what we'll be focusing on. Wow, we thank you so much, Paul, for having you. I mean, it's wonderful. My last interaction with you was very delightful. And I think I will be coming back again for a campus tour. And I mean, maybe within a couple of days, I will send you an email for a campus tour. Thank you so much, everybody who has joined us from wherever you may be, from wherever you are connected. We are delighted to have you. If you have any question, please feel free. You can send me a mail. You can send mail if you have any question or any inquiry. Please feel free to send mail, and I can also share Paul's email with you if any question comes up in your mind. This is Paul's email. You are free to send him email, and he will take it off from there. So on behalf of all of us here, I mean, once again, I thank you, Paul, for joining, and wish to see more of you in some other time. But I will honestly say, if you are interested in this university, please take it up immediately. Let's start the process, and we'll be willing to assist you. Techno Spark 4, please, we are closing. Can you send email? You can send email to ask your question. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mr. Paul. God bless you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. I can see my very good friend, Dayo.
Well done, sir.
All right, man.